Donald Trump is not an idiot. Donald Trump, let me just be very clear. Donald Trump is smarter than me, you, and all critics. You know why we know? Because he has the White House, the Senate, the House.
Totally agree.
Court, the popular vote, and we're still saying, well, how was this guy? We look like idiots to ordinary people.
You're totally right.
So a couple days ago, we reacted to that panel that Van Jones did where he was like sincerely calling out some of the real flaws of the Democrat Party. He addressed the woke a little bit. He talked about how this tendency to defend the establishment, to defend the status quo, and generally be completely elitist and out of touch was killing the Democrats. And here's a brief recap just so we kind of remember the context that Van Jones is currently existing in. Very Kamala Harris coded statement, but there you go.
We are way off. The entire political class is way off. You know, there's a reckoning inside the Democratic Party. Kamala Harris promised us freedom. Well, she delivered it to us because now we're free from having to run anything in Washington, D.C. That we pushed all our rebels out of this party. We had a rebellion in our party in 2016. It was called Bernie Sanders. You had a rebellion in your party in 2016. It was called Donald Trump. Your rebel won, our rebel lost. And then since then, the rebels in our party have been pushed out. RFK was a rebel inside of our party. He wanted to run against Joe Biden fair and square. The DNC wouldn't let him.
Right. So I play that quick recap just so in case you forgot, this is kind of where Van Jones is at the moment. He's sort of the enlightened Democrat who's trying to call out the legitimate flaws in their party. And to his credit, he's not blaming the election loss on racism and sexism. He's actually being largely accurate in a lot of his diagnosis of what's going on. Now, my prediction thus far, I've been saying, okay, at what point does Van Jones just kind of like stop and apologize for it? Because as you know, whenever you criticize the leadership of the DNC, of the Democrat Party, historically, that's not gone very well for mainstream liberal, especially cable news contributors. You know, the DNC sort of just says, you criticized Nancy Pelosi, you criticized our leadership, how dare you, get cast aside. But very interestingly here, Van Jones thus far doesn't seem that scared. He's kind of been like doubling down on this whole enlightened Democrat arc. And recently, he had this take on a podcast where he essentially said, okay, the Democrats can keep saying that Donald Trump is an idiot, but what does that make us? Because we just lost the election. So clearly he's not that stupid if he keeps beating us politically, and it's pretty funny to listen to, so check it out.
How the hell did Donald Trump figure out the mainstream media is the fringe and the fringe is now the mainstream? How the hell was he, the 78-year-old guy who doesn't even have a computer and still like writes handwritten notes, how did he become the guy who cracked the code on, to your point, running a cultural, I don't even want to say campaign, running...
It was a movement. The problem is you have a framework in your mind that, how can Donald Trump? Guys, can we cut it out? Donald Trump is not an idiot. Donald Trump, let me just be very clear. Donald Trump is smarter than me, you, and all critics. You know why we know? Because he has the White House, the Senate, the House.
Totally agree.
Court, the popular vote. He has a massive media ecosystem bigger than the mainstream built around him and for him, and a religious fervor in a political movement around him. And his best buddy is the richest person in the history of the world, and the most relevant Kennedy is with him. This dude is a phenomenon. He is the most powerful human on earth and in our lifetime, and we're still saying, well, how was this guy? We look like idiots to ordinary people.
You're totally right.
You know, I really did not think that giving Van Jones a little bit of credit was going to be the thing I was doing after the 2024 election, but I don't know, the world's kind of turning upside down, I guess. And it's true. Right? I think it was Ben Shapiro, if I'm not mistaken, a long time ago, who said to some leftists, like, look, is Donald Trump a stupid idiot moron? Or is he an evil genius? Because you can't simultaneously think both. And really, the truth is, when you break it down, you may say that he talks crudely. You may disagree with his political views. But ultimately, I think it's hard to say after especially the 2024 election where you can't just say he got lucky, quote unquote, like some people think he did in 2016, that the guy is particularly stupid. He's not. That's just the truth. Now, again, the thing I've been curious about is not so much Van Jones himself, but how are the Democrats largely going to react to him? Because as we've seen thus far, right, when it comes to criticizing the leadership of the Democrat Party, they don't want to hear it. You may remember, in fact, that even back during this election cycle, when Joe Biden was still the candidate, I saw this happen. Like, if a liberal commentator came out and stated the obvious, like Joe Biden is not fit to run, Trump's going to destroy him, all the Democrats and a DNC on top of that would cancel them. They'd say, how dare you, you're working for Trump, you're doing all of this. So are they now going to accuse Van Jones of working for Trump? Because I don't exactly think that's the case, but we've seen this arc for a very long time where some Democrat figure tries to be a little bit honest. They try to go out and just say, hey, look, I think this is just the truth. Like, can we wake up from the echo chamber? Can we call out the bubble? All the Democrats start canceling that person, and then that person feels politically homeless and starts drifting towards MAGA. Not saying that's going to happen to Van Jones. I don't think that's exactly his arc in all of this, but I am saying that I'm very curious to see, right, what is the reaction going to be to Van Jones? Because again, they don't seem to want to hear this very often, even though Van, in this moment, in this context, I disagree with a lot of what he says, but in this point to the Democrats, he is objectively speaking the truth. So we'll see what happens. Now, it is also worth noting that apparently I found this out while I was making this video. Van Jones has been saying this stuff basically since the 2024 election concluded. And here are some examples of that.
And here's how we got beat. We got beat because the Republicans and the conservatives built a different media system that had to do with online, had to do with podcasts, had to do with streaming platforms. And they were spending their money there. We were laughing at them and knocking on doors in Philadelphia and Detroit. It's like, there's no Trump people. They're not dropping literature. They're not knocking on doors.
It was laughing like, oh, Elon Musk and Charlie Kirk with their PACs don't know what they're doing.
We were making fun of Donald Trump for having thrown away his ground game and doing some weird stuff online. We thought that they were idiots. It turned out we were the idiots. We woke up in a body bag because while we were knocking on doors, they were making these phones into 24-hour-a-day political weapons for themselves. And so we got outflanked, outplayed, outbeat by people who told us the whole time that they knew what they were doing.
Again, there's Van Jones saying to the leadership of the DNC, he kind of just admitted it there, right? They don't know what they're doing. How will they take that? How will they react to that? I don't know. Don't be surprised if Van Jones gets accused of some things. Just saying, right? Because this is what they do. I don't know, but here's some more.
If you're the Democrats, what are you going to do for the next 2 years? How do you regroup?
Therapy. We're all going to therapy. I don't know. Why are we here? There's nothing. If you're a Democrat, all we can say is we hope that Susie decides that she's going to take a long vacation, that they hire some terrible people and make some mistakes to give us a chance. Right now, they have everything. They got the Supreme Court. They got the Electoral College. They got the House. They got the Senate. They got the popular vote. And we're just sitting here with the dunce cap on. Last week, we thought we were the smartest people in the world. We thought Donald Trump was an idiot. We thought his campaign made no sense. And it turned out they were smarter than us. And we don't have anything to say to you. I can sit here and pretend I know something. Here's what I know. Everybody I know is miserable. Everybody's on these Zoom calls. Nobody's got any good ideas. And it's going to take us a while to figure this out. I'm not good at coming here and faking and pretending no, we got whooped.
Van, you're gonna go to the spa. You need a massage and a cucumber water.
I agree. And a cookie.
That's right.
All right.
And I don't know how much you guys care about it, but to me, that's actually a very interesting piece of insider information because, Van Jones is like big within Democrat internal politics. And he's talking about how apparently since the election, they've been doing Zoom calls, trying to coordinate strategy and nobody knows what to do. Like they're a party lost in the wilderness right now. Very interesting. But with that said, okay, here's free advice to the Democrats. If you want to win, I can't believe I'm saying this, but if you want to win, you should be listening to people like Van Jones right now. Okay? Because and I mean this sincerely, he doesn't come off to me like someone who's just trying to grift off of MAGA. I know that accusation has been thrown out a lot by both sides in reaction to certain people on the left seemingly being a little bit nicer to Trump or whatever, a little more open-minded ever since the election. I don't think that's Van Jones at all. Seems to me he genuinely is trying to help the Democrat Party. He sincerely cares about his side, and like, good for him for doing that. But again, my question is, how are the Democrats going to respond to that? Are they going to try to listen to him? Can they take any criticism at all? Or are they just going to go back into their little turtle shells, be like, no, Americans are racist and sexist. Donald Trump bad. Donald Trump bad. Let's run Gavin Newsom in 2028, an evolved clone of the same exact candidate. Although, apparently, according to the polls, a lot of Democrats want to run Kamala Harris again. Like, the literal definition of insanity is that. And then just assume something different is going to happen and then blame the electorate once again when you lose. You can take that path, Democrats, or you can listen to Van Jones. Ultimately, I don't really care, right? Because I think if you want to keep being insane, you're going to keep losing. If you want to moderate and be more normal, you'll be harder to beat, but it'll also just be healthier for our political system, because then we don't have to worry about losing the country because our side lost the election. Like, it doesn't have to be so dramatic if your party was just a little more normal and it was really like a good faith discussion on, oh, we disagree on healthcare, we disagree on taxes, instead of they're literally going to destroy the country because they win, because that's kind of been the campaign you guys are running lately. So just saying, all right, you can disagree. That's the perception. That's why you guys keep losing. Okay, just saying. But with that said, guys, let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comment section down below. What do you think of Van Jones's character arc? Do you think, he has some ulterior motive here, or do you think he's just sincerely trying to help? How do you think Democrats who are very hard-headed are going to respond to that? Let me know. Be sure to leave a like on this video. Subscribe if you are new. Help us hit our goal of 400K subs. And until next time, God bless and peace.